What's up guys, Coop here, and today I have some rather kind of sad news to talk about. So, to first off talk about this, it's about the game Paragon. Paragon has been a game that I've thoroughly enjoyed and I played a lot of at the time when it was first kind of coming out to the world with its beta. And I played a lot of it, I made a lot of guides. Some of my first sort of bigger videos with YouTube was Paragon videos, sort of guides and showing off the different features, showing off their unique card system and talents and all their unique heroes and things. And I'm sad to announce that there is some rather sad news about it. So today they have announced, well actually I guess it was a couple days ago, Paragon is to close on April 26th. So sad to announce that Paragon is sadly shutting down. And it really sucks because this game was honestly really good, and it had like a unique card system and sort of talent system with this gems, and you had different builds for different ways of playing your characters. You had early game advantage, you had a guy who's built for early game who could demolish it and get higher levels based off of that, sort of abusing that, or you had like the people who were okay for most of the game and then they would spike at end game and be really good with the gem system. And then you also had the unique cards, so you had these different like cards, sort of Magic the Gathering type of system, where you'd pick like two different colors and they had two different sort of play styles, and that was really awesome. And then on top of that, they had where if every time you play a game, you would get stars, and then they would help you open up chests, which would help you get free skins, similar to how League of Legends does it today. And then even on top of that, they had it to where PlayStation and PC could play at the same time. It was such a cool idea. They had a lot of cool stuff going on, and the graphics were just on point. And the match qualities was awesome because you were able to just kind of jump into games. It wasn't that long, and overall it was pretty fun. But sadly they've been officially closed. So for a lot of people, some people are asking why. Some of the YouTubers out there are trying to figure out what they're going to be doing, and I thought it'd be really good to talk about this because I felt like this was very affecting to me as a person who used to play Paragon all the time, and now Paragon is just closed. Like, this is the website. Like, there is no, you can't look at the heroes, you can't look at like the deck builder that they used to have, nothing. It is literally just news in the forums now. And like I've been trying to like find the website, and like I'll get to like the first page and I'll click on something and it'll direct it right to this. So it seems like Paragon is officially done. They're not even having this, like, the website show all the stuff that was about their game. And that's really depressing because there was a lot of soul and community and fun that was in this game. So, really kind of blows, just in general, especially with everything that was going forward. But anyways, let's actually read this and kind of dive in and talk about some of the things that are on this letter here. So, hey everybody, it's with heavy hearts that we decided to close down Paragon. We truly appreciate everything you've put into Paragon, and we've received many passionate ideas for where to take the game, and the outpouring of thoughtful suggestions is a testament to this incredible community. After careful consideration and many internal debates, we feel there isn't a clear path to grow Paragon into the MOBA that retains enough players to be suitable. We didn't execute well enough to deliver the promise of Paragon. We have failed you despite the team's incredible work, or incredibly hard work. We are sorry. To try to make this right, Epic is offering a full refund to Paragon players who have purchased. Okay, so basically there's a refund and everything. We will continue having the Paragon servers until April 26, 2018. As player population continues to decrease, matchmaking times and quality will further downgrade. Thank you for joining us on our journey and for your dedication to Paragon. It's really depressing to see this game go. Just because it was like one of my favorite MOBAs. It was really polished. I've never been a big fan of MOBAs, but for a game to actually kind of pull me in and for me to be really good at it, it kind of sucks because it's like one of the few games that I was like not many people could beat me at. Like my Fang Mao skills like on the off lane was just on point. But sadly, it looks like that's kind of be over. I know a lot of whole YouTubers. Some of them I've personally contacted to give me some advice, especially because I was trying to be like one of the best Fang Mao players out there, and for that to just be shut down, that's rough. Um, so it's just really difficult to talk about because this is like one of my favorite games, and just seeing it just go gone, it kind of sucks. But anyways, let's actually talk about where it went wrong, because I didn't stay through it the whole time, and most of the people I talked to, they're like, dude, that game's awesome, that game's dope. I had like friends that were playing it, I had neighbors that were playing it, I used to assemble my own little squad that would do it, and it, like, I knew a lot of like guys in my guild that would play it, but like we all had this point where we kind of turned over. So I just want to like focus on what actually was sort of the root of why this game was not what the point where it was. So the first one that we're going to be talking about is the leveling up rewards, or not the level up rewards, but mainly the login and sort of all the different rewards that you got. So one of the main things that we would typically get is every time you log in, you get like a bonus. However, one of the biggest issues with the logging in was a lot of heroes were locked until you played a certain amount of days. Now, this wasn't too bad at first, but the issue is you had 4 of these really boring characters. You had Murdoch, Gadget, and I can't remember the other 2, but they were really not that flashy. They weren't really the cool characters. They were some of the early first built characters, and they really showed it. They didn't have much heart to them, I think. So that was like one of the biggest issues as well. It was just they were really boring, and then you kind of were like waiting and waiting and waiting. You're like, okay, come on, day 6, or I forget what the second tier was, but it was like, come on, give me those characters. Then you got those characters, and then you start playing them a bunch, and you're like, okay, because what they did was they had like beginner heroes, then they had intermediate heroes, and then they had like advanced heroes. And that was kind of like the way that they went about it. The problem was the advanced heroes are all flashy and cool and fun to play, and then the other ones were like, eh. So, for example, I like Feng Mao. I thought he was a relatively easier character, and he's considered like I think second tier or third tier, where it's just like, ugh. So by the time I got to, I think it was the 12-day mark where I unlocked Seraph and all the other characters that I really enjoy playing, I was kind of already bored with the game because I was stuck playing with these guys, and I kind of logged on just in hopes of getting those characters. So that was one of the biggest issues I found with that. Along with some of the leveling up rewards were kind of, some of them were really, really good, and then the rest of them would be complete garbage. So it's just kind of like, I felt like it needed a little bit more there. And then on top of it, when you actually leveled up characters, it wasn't as good. So they completely redid the leveling system later on, to where you kind of went up tiers. But I forget, there were some other issues with it. It was just like, you went up on tiers, and then for your hero, and then you would unlock more things along the way. And that was cool because you had like that sort of thing going on. But you had to pay like a good amount of like these currency, and they made it really complicated when it really didn't need to be complicated. So I felt like it was just kind of lacking in that department. So what is my number 2 reason I think that this game is dying? Fortnite. Just plain out Fortnite. Fortnite was a unexpected thing for Epic Games to be as big as it is. I know that they kind of knew it was going to be big, but I don't think they really knew to the full excalibur of how big it was going to get. And in a previous letter, Paragon said that they had to move resources over to Fortnite. And I think that's really important, because if you have some of the head players, the head people in charge of a game, you start to crumble sort of the support that makes the game. So with taking some of the head people from there over, you had a lot of people who were maybe thrown into new management roles, into a game that was already kind of having a shaky beginning. So that was going on. And Fortnite, I don't want to say Fortnite like killed the game. It's just like, oh, screw Fortnite, and hate on them. But it definitely made a part into why this game is dying. I don't like, now by no means is that a bad thing. Fortnite is a wonderful game, and obviously you got to go where the money is. You can't build a passion project and keep going with the passion project and hope that it gets out. There's been many trails of tears for people that have done that. You got to do what you got to do to survive. And EA, or not EA, but Epic Games is a gaming company, and it needs to focus on that. Now, Epic Games is a really good company, and they're not like EA, but they do need to focus on what matters most, and if most players are playing that game, they need to make that game better. And not many people are playing this game, or they're playing and then dropping immediately. And so that was one of the biggest things out there. And in the open letter, they addressed it. They said that Fortnite obviously took some of their people that were in charge over because they really needed the support there. And I think that's just important overall, because they outright reference it. And it sucks that it went down that path, but that is how they had to go about doing it. And the third reason I would actually say is the incentives. So the incentives were not as good. So, okay, every time you logged on, you got a bonus. Cool. Every time you leveled up a hero, you got a bonus. Cool. Every time you level up your actual account, you got a bonus. Cool. And then on top of it, you had this chest, and as you played games, you get a bonus as well. And then on top of that, if there's like this like little vault thing, and then as you put more stars into it, like playing more games outside of the other chest, as you're playing games, they would both get stars. The vault would give you some of the best goodies, and that was also really cool. But the issue was the chest, the login rewards, the sort of not summoner level, but that's what they call it in League of Legends, but your account level and then your character levels half the time were not that good. They were really boring rewards and not that flashy. And one of the issues was the max cool thing that you could get from a lot of those was just maybe a different color skin. And the issue was like, oh, cool, you're red or you're blue or you're green. Like, that wasn't that flashy. And then they had a lot of all these other cool flashy skins, which, you know, understandably you want people to buy those and things like that. And that was awesome. But one of the biggest rewards that they would give is these little loot crates. And obviously everybody knows the issues with loot boxes, but this was not a pay-to-win game. Everything was cosmetic for that. But, you know, you would open it and it had all this RNG of just random stuff that you could get. And that really sucked because you also, on top of having this loot crate, you had to get keys. So the keys actually cost money, or you had to win the keys to open the box. So you could open up a really cool box and then get a loot crate. And then you can't open that loot crate. And then on top of it, you would open up a loot box and then you would get like a green skin or something. Because it would do, or not a green skin, but you would get like these, like a skin for a character that you didn't even use. And I think one of my biggest issues was that there wasn't a currency-based system for the rewards that you got. And what I mean by that is, like, you couldn't get, like, a bunch of loot crates and then be like, I want to destroy that skin and get, like, a currency and then use that to buy the skin I want. And I get, like, obviously that it's one of the points of driving it for a business, but the business model has evolved so much, and especially with games like what happened with EA and everything, I think it's important that with cosmetics you kind of figure out where the right part is, and I think adding a whole currency to where people can actually buy the skins that they want eventually is very important. So the incentives were kind of all over the place. Some of them were really good, some of them were really solid, and then you had these skins out there. Now, one of the other reasons that I say that the game died is it just wasn't putting out characters fast enough. You see this with a lot of games out there. For example, Overwatch. A lot of people quit Overwatch because they just weren't hyped about it anymore or got too competitive. And another one of the biggest reasons is heroes not coming out fast enough. A lot of people look at those games and they're like, well, I'm not getting a hero this month or whatever. I'm done with it. League of Legends is a prime example of showing what happens when you constantly churn out characters. Now keep in mind this makes it really hard for balancing, and that was another issue that Paragon really had, and which we're getting to another reason why Paragon was sort of going down, was a lot of the characters were very overpowered and very annoying to deal with, and some were underpowered. Iggy and Scorch, for example. So, and it got really to the point where it was annoying. Like this character right here was super annoying because she could just tack you down, and then she would just build all power, and then her spells would kill you anywhere on the map. So it sucked because I'd just be running around killing some creatures in like the forest or whatever, and then boom, just dead. And that really sucked, especially as my first time experience. Now they ended up changing the system later on, but that really sucked going forward. And they didn't fix a lot of the issues till it was too late. So they had this new card system. I already talked about it in the beginning, but awesome card system, awesome gym system, but they held back a lot of the changes for those characters till after that card system went through. Zinx, for example, people were like, well, Zinx is going to be better once the card change happens, or she was meant for this part. So once the card change actually happened, everything changed and everything was all good again. And that was one of the issues there, and that's what ended up happening with Paragon. Now, by no means is this supposed to be a video that's dissing the game. The game was a good game. It was a revolutionary game that changed how sort of the aspects worked. You know, you looked at games like Smite and League of Legends, and League of Legends was, you know, its lane-based system made very nice and clean. Then you had sort of how sort of Smite did it, where they took down the camera and they changed the angle, and that was really awesome. But one of the things that Paragon really did was it focused on how the character identity was, so every single character is vastly different, and how the spells felt good, and the graphics were beautiful, and then they focused on the one thing that I thought was key, the actual player versus player aspect to it. There wasn't as much of a MOBA issue. You weren't worrying about lanes, you weren't worrying about pushing your creeps up. I mean, you obviously you definitely did, but one of the things that was really core was focusing on the player combat. Turrets could hit you multiple times and you'd still be able to get your kill and not have to worry about it too much. And I found that really interesting, just by the fact that turrets didn't matter that much. You know, you play games like League and everything, and you're scared crapless of the turrets. You're like, oh my god, I have to stay completely away from that turret. Compared to me, where I was saying, now I put up my shield, I could spin, I could do my slow attack, get a few good attacks in there, port myself out, and then be fine. So I thought that was really awesome, because it made me not have to worry about the turrets so much, and I could actually focus on the actual gameplay and do my combos and everything. But and on top of it, you could hook up your PlayStation and play with your friends on PC. That was such a cool thing. Like, that's another thing. They really didn't advertise that. There were so many features that were really, really awesome, and I felt like they just missed the mark with it. And if they would have just paid some like good YouTubers or something out there, they would have made a good game right there. And that really sucks, especially going forward. And it's rough. I know there's going to be probably some Paragon fanboys who are probably hating me talking about this, and I'm right there with you. I do genuinely understand why you are upset and why I'm personally upset, because this game was really good. Like, really good. Like, it's one, like, I still talked about it constantly. And it sucks that I stopped playing it, because they, you know, it seems like that was a consistent thing. And it really sucks, because this game had a lot of good features. But anyways, I don't want to keep rambling on and on and on. I just wanted to tell you guys sort of the news and sort of put my own opinions on there as a player who was very good at the game, who loved playing the game, who ranked up really high in the game. And I had multiple accounts. I even had like my Smurf account and everything, and trying to do different SRs, and it was so good. Like, it's just a game that I actually felt passion for. And I stopped playing for a tiny bit, and now, I always had it in my back mind, like, hey, I'm gonna hit up my friends, we'll play Paragon, whenever like our games are dying off. But yeah, it looks like it's a little too late. Now, I do want to do a sort of stream of it sometime on my channel before it closes. Just do a nice long stream of just playing it one more time, because I feel like that would be a very good way to kind of end off on a bright note with Paragon and sort of my opinions, and just play my character one last time and just sort of go there. So, but anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching. I know this is kind of a more depressing video to talk about gaming news wise, but I just wanted to talk about it. It's something I'm a little bit passionate about, and it sucks that this game is actually now dead. But what are your guys' opinions? Put them down below. I'm actually really curious, because I was I'm kind of biased. I got really deep into the competitiveness of sort of Paragon, but I know a lot of other people are just kind of playing it just like, and probably had ill thoughts, and I kind of want to know what everybody's opinions are down below, so be sure to do that. Also, smash that like button to dedicate it back to Paragon out here. We're going to be trying to do a live stream of that eventually in the future. But also check out a lot of my other content out there. I know with obviously I can't cover Paragon as much, but there's a lot of other games out there that are really good potential-wise. Like you've got Battle Riot, you've got all these different other games out there. So have no fear. There is good games that you guys can still migrate to. Just it sucks that this beautiful game is going to rest, but it is what it is. Gaming, as everything must fall, honestly. But anyways, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.